Random thoughts. In this video, I'm going to read a part of Sir Richard Burton's book, First Steps in East Africa, Exploration of Harar. This is a book that was published in 1850s. It's a book that Richard Burton wrote to tell us about his journey from Aden all the way to Harar, trying to collect information that the British needed to use to capture the port of Berbera. Now, in this book, he talks about many things, and then initially he tells us about his stay at Saylac, a very ancient city, and he tells us different things. And one of the things I found in that part that I found to be very interesting is him describing what the people did on day-to-day basis, especially when they were not busy with other things, business or things like that, or work. What did they do? And he talks about them playing games. And I found this to be very interesting. For example, he tells us about them playing certain type of draft that was called Shantara. And let me read what he says about it. He says, at the extreme near the sea is a little mosque of wattlework. We sit there under the shade and play a rude form of drafts called Shantara or Sha, a modification of the former. So it's a type of a board game that they used to play. I don't know whether these games still exist, and I would like, if you know that, well, if you know something about this game, I would like to hear about it, whether it still exists, whether it's still played anywhere. I would like to know about it. He does explain detailed description and explanation on how it is played, but I could not follow. It's a long note. And I think most of these games, you rather somebody show you with a board rather than being explained through text. And then the other thing that he says they used to do was shooting at mark, like, of course, target practice using through, he says, more often eschewing these effeminacies, because playing the board game effeminacies, like, it's not something that was honorable for men to do, but they will do it, seems like. We shoot at the mark, throw the javelin, leap, or engage in some gymnastic exercise. And then there's another game that they play that I found to be even more interesting, is the game of hockey. He says that in Saylac, they used to play hockey sometimes, and people used to be very passionate about these matches, seems like. And I found that to be very, this is 1850s, remember. And in East Africa, and people used to play these hockey games, and people would become so passionate about it. This is what he says. When tired of exercise, we proceed round the walls to the Ashurbara, or Southern Gate. Here, boys play at the hockey with sticks and stone energetically as in England. They are fine manly specimens of the race, but noisy and impudent, like all the young savages, of course. He has to throw in the savages there. At 2 years of age, they hold out their right hand for sweetmeats, and if refused, become insolent. The citizens amuse themselves with the ball, at which they play roughly as Scotch linkers. They are divided into two parties, pagellas and married men. So they will form teams of pagellas and married men. Accidents often occur, and no player wears any but the scantiest clothing, otherwise he would retire from the conflict of rags. The victors sing and dance about the town for hours. The team that wins, they will sing around the town for hours celebrating. I found that to be very interesting. Brandishing their spears and shouting their slogans, boasting of their ideal victories, their Abyssinian, Dontafu, or war vaunt. So they'll talk about the wins they've had even at the battlefield. And advancing in death trump with frantic gestures, a battle won will be celebrated with less circumstance in Europe. So these people used to celebrate a lot, that he says. The Europeans didn't even celebrate like this when they won a battle. But these people will celebrate. The team that won this game will celebrate a lot. It seems like there was a lot of celebration in Saylac when such matches were organized. Yeah, so I found that to be interesting, because sometimes when we read about history of ancient cities, and especially East Africans, the element of sports does not come up. We hardly get to hear of this. So when I came across this, I found it to be very interesting that the people of Saylac will organize matches and the people will celebrate so passionately. I found that to be very interesting. Those are my random thoughts.